Welcome back, Jadeaholics. This is the Jade Gem Hunter Show, and today we're going to talk about jadeite and nephrite and the chemistry.
Right. So I did this because I think it helps provide you with the foundation of some other things that you will hear about later on, like color, um, uh, treated versus untreated, the different kinds of classifications, and so on. So this is the third one in our series of vlogs. Okay. So now I know it's a little bit technical, but
you guys asked for it.
So I'm going to go through a bunch of characteristics about nephrite versus jadeite. I should say jadeite versus nephrite. I'll just go over some of these real quick, but they both have silicate in it. Jadeite falls in the pyroxene group, and nephrite falls in the amphibole. So colors, you'll see that jadeite comes in a broad range of colors: the white, the lavenders, the green, black, reds, and yellow. And they have more of a veins and mottled, meaning spots of different colors in a particular jadeite piece. Nephrite is much more uniform. It's white, green, dark green. The appearance of jadeite tends to be shinier, more lustrous.
Definitely.
And it tends to be more translucent for the nicer pieces, right? So we always look for translucency to some degree. Nephrite, on the other hand, tend to be less translucent, somewhat opaque, but it has this waxy, soapy feeling.
And kind of mottled. A little mottled. It also feels very different.
Right.
Yeah, it's very smooth, but more like a satin finish. Rather, the jadeite's very, very shiny and blingy compared to it.
Right. So no matter how much you polish nephrite, you still get that waxy, soapy feeling. Right. But when you polish up that jadeite, I mean, you can tell it just, sort of hits you in the face.
Right.
Texture, jadeite is grainy, nephrite is more interwoven. And that texture is very important because of the interwoven fibrous crystal, that's why they could use nephrite as a tool. Jadeite, not really tool material. I mentioned before that, we'll get into that, but so that's why this interwoven characteristic is important. Mohs hardness. What we're going to learn, hardness and toughness are two different things in the gem world. Mohs hardness is how hard it is. So a diamond is a 10. Jadeite is 6.5 to 7. Nephrite is 6.0 to 6.5. So in terms of hardness, jadeite is actually harder than nephrite. And by the way, since it's not like a diamond, that's what makes it easy to carve. But here's the real interesting part: toughness. So toughness is the ability to withstand pressure. So you'll see that the toughness of jadeite and nephrite are quite substantial. It's a big number. But to give you a sense, the toughness of jadeite is 20 times tougher than a diamond, and nephrite is 34 times tougher than a diamond. So you can't use diamond as an axe, but you can for nephrite, and jadeite you sort of can, but it's not as strong, not as tough as nephrite. So this is something that is difficult to understand up front. Here, nephrite is softer than jadeite, but nephrite is almost twice as tough as jadeite, and nephrite is 34 times tougher than diamond. So when I talked about, or Barbara talked about, having a bangle keychain, you can't drop a diamond, but you could drop a nephrite. Not that I would get in the habit of dropping my keychain, but a technical thing, specific gravity, refractive index. By the way, these terms are technical, but it becomes important when people start trying to sell you fake jade. And with a refractometer, you can very easily measure that jadeite has a 1.65 refractive index, and nephrite just a little bit less than that. And value, jadeite is by far more expensive than nephrite. So when someone tries to sell you nephrite at a jadeite price, you have to walk away, clearly walk away.
So I have a couple of pieces of jadeite, and as you can tell, the beads, look how shiny they are. They're really just lustrous. I don't have any nephrite, unfortunately. I was never one to be interested in getting any, so I do apologize. I may have a piece of nephrite, but I'll have to dig for it, and I'll show that in a later show. But I just wanted to show you, what jadeite looks like, and you can see how lustrous it is. Yeah.
So this is shiny. These beads are translucent. If you look at it carefully, and I know you all have a piece of jade in your house, but you'll see a grainy type pattern. From with your naked eye, you don't need a microscope to do it. So
and see how translucent it is. I don't know if you can see that.
Right.
It's pretty translucent. Yeah. But I promise you, in future video, I will have a piece of nephrite to show you.
Right. So this is all interesting. I think the things that you'll think about is the colors, the appearances, and the colors become important, and the appearance, the textures become important because the simulants may have similar colors, but they won't have the same texture. They may have the same colors, but the appearance may be opaque. You can't see through it. But through the texture, you'll be able to differentiate two opaque pieces. One is jadeite, and the other one will be a simulant, a fake piece. So some of the characteristics become very important to you.
And by the way, jadeite versus nephrite, no matter how much you polish nephrite, you will always just have that nice, dull, soapy look to it. Smooth, soapy look to it. And it just depends on what you like. Some people really, really are nephrite fans.
Right.
And they go gaga looking for the different accoutrements that the nephrite possess, and rather than the jadeite, and of course it's to each his own.
So if and we don't have this type of client yet, but if we have a client that says, I want to spend, my budget is $5,000-$10,000, what we would do is we'd have a lab test it for specific gravity, refractive index, and so on. So they would test it, they would be able to document it, and so on. So we talk about that a little bit more later on. So here's
pictures.
Here's two examples.
Yeah.
So I know I went for the extreme. I found this Hutton Devani necklace. It went for $27 million. but you can see it's shiny. It's not quite transparent, but it's very, very translucent with a degree of transparency. And to your left are two pictures I took in London at the Albert and Victoria and Albert, one or the other museum, where there was a whole collection
in London
in the Chinese section. But you can see the nephrite goes back. The head of the horse goes back to 206 to 200 BC to 220 AD. And what is
Han Dynasty?
And Qing Dynasty.
Han Dynasty.
No, for this
one.
one.
Qing. Oh, yes.
Is 1700 to 1800.
Right. Yeah.
So, but you can tell it's not shiny. They're beautiful pieces,
right.
But they have that waxy, soapy look. So there's a visual example. This is my term. I call jadeite a mutt. What?
I coined it.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Jadeite is a mutt. Most Myanmar jadeite is not pure, meaning that Myanmar jade contains different types of pyroxene. Cosmochlor, omphacite. Cosmochlor is that dark green. Omphacite, which is tend to be more black. Albite, augite, azurine, and other minerals. So basically, a piece of jadeite can be called jadeite if 60% of it is jadeite. But it's not that unusual to find some of the other pyroxene in that same and that's
why you get many different colors and many different shapes and within the jade itself, and not one piece is the same. All of these minerals all come together to create this beautiful nature's work of art.
So let me go back to this. In China, this one jade expert, Miss Wu Yang, actually put cosmochlor and omphacite into the whole jadeite family, but she calls it, what is fei? How do you say? Fei shui. So fei shui, what she says is there's 4 jades that fall into that fei shui umbrella. Jadeite, nephrite, cosmochlor, and omphacite. Mm-hmm. So this is something that we learned fairly recently. Mm-hmm. Okay, so next I'm just going to talk a little bit about chemical contents of jadeite. Jadeite has Na, sodium, Al, aluminate or aluminum, silicate, and O6. So the Si2O6 is the silicate. Cosmochlor also has the Si2O6, but it's sodium chromate. Mm-hmm. Omphacite has a combination of 1 Ca or Na, magnesium, iron, or aluminate, but with the silicate at the end. So one example is sodium ferrite silicate.
Time to take my vitamins.
Right, time to take. This one is just a tidbit of information. Right. So one of the things that we are always cautious of is people tend to try to sell us this relatively clear with the green accent albite. You can see that albite is almost the same. The chemical elements are the same, but the number of element in the albite is different than jadeite. So you'll see sodium aluminate Si3O8, and under tremendous pressure and low heat meaning not thousands of degrees, and many, many years, I don't know if it's 100,000 years or 1,000,000 years, albite becomes jadeite. Through the pressure and low heat, some of that silicate and oxygen element disappear. So why don't you just show, so this is, we bought this on purpose just to show people, but it looks like jadeite.
Gorgeous. beautiful.
It's a beautiful piece.
Mm.
But albite, it's albite. So
It's albite.
It's not as old as jadeite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if that was still, that rock that this came from was in the ground for another, whatever, 100,000 million years, it would be jadeite. So we bring it up because when we're hunting for jade, bangle, we bump into this all the time.
All the time.
Why don't you click it, just since we have to? So one of the things that you're going to learn later on is how do you know if jade is real?
See that? Hear that? It's not jade.
Right. So that's one of the tests for knowing whether it's jadeite. You click two pieces of jadeite together, and you get this long tone, and this is more of a thud. And so clearly we know that it's not jadeite, but it looks like jadeite.
Right.
It looks like jadeite.
Right.
So I'm not sure you can get it to be. Can you?
Yeah, kind of. Hear that? It's a very like high clicky. I don't know if you can hear it.
Right. And we've had customers tell us, "Oh my gosh."
I should get some bangles from downstairs. I should go and get some bangles.
Well, no. We're moving on. This is chemistry.
Okay. All right. Sorry,
but
guys.
Here's just some examples. I know I'm overdoing the albite, but I just had room to put albite in. So we have jadeite, okay, and then cosmochlor from the Tomar mine that has that dark green with the black spot. This is omphacite. Omphacite without the light in the background can look very, very black. It falls in the jadeite family, but you get to another level of detail and you have cosmochlor. And this is just albite. We went to a place and they had a whole tray of these and they charged us hardly anything. But it turns out it was albite. Oh, I dropped.
You can also kind of tell too. It just doesn't have that glassy, glossy feel and look of white ice jade.
There's two pieces in there.
Where?
Oh, I think in the tray.
In the tray?
In that box?
Oh, hold on.
No, not in there.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, I dropped one of these and it broke like nothing.
Right.
So
this one broke. It broke right away. But it can fool you. It sounds like it, but it really doesn't look like it. See?
Right.
It doesn't feel like it. So you always have to kind of.
Well, if you feel it, it doesn't have that cold feel.
Right, not at all. But also it doesn't feel like jadeite. It doesn't feel like a piece of jadeite. It sounds so you can really kind of, but not really. You're not sure. If you're not sure, it probably isn't.
Yeah, I mean, look at in the lower right-hand corner, you have jadeite. Mm-hmm. It's a white jadeite. And the upper left-hand corner, you have albite. Mm-hmm. So it's just something that people have to watch out for. And with this donut, with this pie disc, you could tell just by feeling it. You can't tell by the picture. You have to feel it. And if this particular piece feels warm, meaning it's hot here.
Yeah, you couldn't feel it here, but we feel it.
Yeah, it's 95 degrees
right
here today, and almost, actually 37 degrees. So it probably hit.
It is 100.
It hit 100 today, but we have the AC on, but this thing feels warm. Mm-hmm. So this albite bangle feels warm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what about this one?
It's cool. This is a heart.
It's jadeite.
It's jadeite. Mm-hmm.
But it's cool. It's cool to the touch,
cool.
and it's shiny.
Shiny.
See, it's pretty shiny, and
partially translucent.
Yes, partially translucent also. But I wish you guys could feel it. It just feels warm. Look at how warm that is. It's just really warm. Yeah.
Right. So that's why when people ask us, is this really jadeite? Is it this? Is it that? And we say, well, just looking at it, we think it might be, but you don't know until you feel it and touch it. And
because some of them are really good, but we don't want to get into that yet, just yet.
We're going to get into a lot of detail later on. Okay.
Moving on.
So that is a little bit about the chemistry. I didn't get too detailed with chemistry, but I touched on it because you noticed that silicate. I guess I won't go back. But silicate is a common bond between all of the different, they're pyroxene, between all of the jadeite. But what's in front of it, the sodium aluminate in front of the silicate is what makes it jadeite. But there's other combinations that makes the cosmochlor or omphacite. Mm-hmm. So that's this vlog.
Yes, it is. So that's it for our number 3 vlog for the evening. And please like us on Facebook and contact me. Let me know what your thoughts are and what you would like to see more of. And of course, tell your friends about us and, let us hunt for you.
Okay, so that's it for today.
What we'll probably do on our next vlog is probably talk about more in depth the different types.
Let's see what the next one's about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, where did Jade come from? Okay, that's an interesting topic.
Okay.
So but that's it for now.
Yes.
And thank you for watching. And just like Barbara said, like us and tell your friends about us. And just remember, we're anxious to hunt for you, and we want you to learn as much as possible.
And it's a learning experience for us too.
Yes, it is. It is. Okay, thank you. Bye.